Lesson 4, Conversations, and the grammar points following that portion. The first grammar item to discuss is alternative questions. Alternative questions are exactly what they mean. Is it an A or a B? We ask questions like that all the time. So, 소피아는 일본 사람이에요? 중국 사람이에요? 소피아는 일본 사람이에요? 중국 사람이에요? Is Sophia a Japanese person or a Chinese person? Sophia, Japanese person or Chinese person? You just put a comma in between, but the verb forms are the same. One thing to pay attention to is because this is not the end of the sentence, you use a rising intonation. 일본 사람이에요? 중국 사람이에요? You can do both rising, or you can do 일본 사람이에요? 중국 사람이에요? I think it makes sense to do both rising because they're both questions. The answer is you pick one. 중국 사람이에요. Another one. 동생이 있어요? 없어요? Do you have a sibling or not? 동생 is a younger sibling and there's no gender distinction in the word 동생 itself. So you have a younger sibling or you don't. 동생이 있어요? 없어요? And you say 남동생이 있어요. You could have just said 동생이 있어요. I have a sibling without specifying which gender. But Sophia added, I have a male sibling, younger one, younger brother. All right. Let's talk about Korean numbers. Korean numbers are very confusing. Of course, we use Arabic numerals, but yeah, when in writing, not a problem. It's a universal numeral. But when you read these numerals, how do you read? And unfortunately for you, there are two systems. And two systems are Sino-Korean. Sino means Chinese, Chinese-Korean. I have told you that before, the Korean language has always been different from the Chinese language, but until the system of writing became settled in the 15th century in Korea, educated people who knew written language used Chinese. So the Chinese influence is very heavy. And Korea for a long time had a tributary relationship with China, meaning each year some educated like government officials would be sent to China bearing gifts, and learn new cultural things from China. But, despite all that, Korea has kind of maintained its distinct culture. So that's Sino-Korean. And another system is Native Korean. It's pure Korean. And what makes it more complicated is that this Native Korean also has a little bit of a variation depending on whether it's followed by a counter. When I say a counter is something like something that makes anything measurable. Of course, you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, and you could be counting anything. But oftentimes there are specific counters, like a counter for people in Korean is 명. So when you have a counter like 명, or English has has counters as well, like a cup of coffee. Cup is the counter for coffee because it makes coffee measurable. A glass of beer, same thing, a bunch of parsley. So when you have counters following the numbers, we use a variation of the native Korean form. And it doesn't apply to all of the numbers, so it's not that complicated. So number 1 is 일, native 하나, native before counters 한. I'm going to just read across. 이, 둘, 두. 삼, 셋, 세, 사, 넷, 네, 오, 다섯, 다섯, 육, 여섯, 여섯, 칠, 일곱, 일곱, 팔, 여덟, 여덟. You don't really hear the b unless there is another sound following it, where the b sound can be expressed. 구, 아홉, 아홉, 십, 열, 열. If you have ever studied Taekwondo, you will know how to count to 10, right? 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. And because Taekwondo is a native Korean martial art form, they use native Korean numbers. I'm going to give you examples of counters. 하나 becomes 한 when it's followed by a counter for human beings. 한 명, 두 명, 세 명, 네 명. And you have these variations to make the pronunciation more doable, easy to do. Okay, so larger numbers. 11, and it's decimal, right? So you add 10, and then you go back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Easy, right? 11, I can go this way, so they can see the system. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's a little bit of an assimilation happening. You say b, but because of it moves over here and kind of rounds out the sound. So it becomes 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You need to be very careful with the number 18 because it can also mean like the English equivalent swear word F. I can't say it, so you need to be very careful. Okay, and native Korean numbers, same thing, it's also a decimal system. So 10, 열, and then you go back to 하나, 열둘, 열셋, 열넷, and the variations happen exactly the same way. 열다섯, 열여섯, 열일곱, 열여덟, 열아홉, 열아홉, 스물, and 스무. It's a variation for counters. And then, I'm not going to list all of them, but Sino, Sam is 3, right? And then you put ship 10. So 3 times 10 is 30. And then you can say 31, 32, 33, 34. 40 is 40, 5, 5, 10, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 1000, 만. Native, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Repeat after me. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And after that, there are no more native Korean numbers. We all use Sino-Korean numbers for large numbers. And so large numbers, 100, these are all Sino, right? 100 is 100. If you want to make it 200, you put 2, 200. 1000, 1000, 2000. 만, 10,000, 2만. 10만, that's 10 times 만, 20만. This is confusing because in English it's easy. You just read the number before the comma, 100,000. But in Korean, the numbers as they get bigger, the base is 10,000, and that's 만. So 100,000 is not 100,000 in Korean. It's technically 10,000. So it's 10만. So forget about the comma. You have to learn it all over again. Did you know that numbers are one of the last things one masters in a second language? It's one of the last things that goes away. It's such like second nature to you how you count in your native language. Even now, when I count money or something and I have to pay attention, it's just easy for me to just mumble in Korean. 100만. So it's technically 100 times 10,000. 100만, 200만, 2 million. 1000만 is 10 million. 2천만 is 20 million. 억 is 100,000. 100, is that right? Yeah, 100 million. Such a large number. 2억. 1달러는 1,000원이에요. $1 is 1,001. That's approximately, right? It fluctuates a little bit. Maybe it's more like 1,200 now. 텔레비전이 190만 원이에요. the TV is 190만 원. 1,900,000 won. Sounds like a lot of money, but just don't count the last three zeros. Then you end up with 1,900. That's the approximately the equivalent. Oh, I shouldn't have put that dollar symbol. Sorry. The one symbol is, let me write it for you. Korean money symbol is W and a line. So forget about this. Alright, noun counters. When counting things, one must use appropriate counters. Some counters go with Sino-Korean numbers, some with native Korean numbers, and others with either. And how do you know? You just need to memorize. Some things just defy logic. Okay, counters with native Korean numbers. Let me give you some examples. 명, 사람, meaning people. So 한 명, 두 명, 세 명. Remember with numbers through 4, we have a variation of this native Korean numbers, right? 말이 means animals, without any distinctions between any types of animals. I guess we don't use 말이 for insects. 한 마리, 두 마리, 세 마리. 개 means items. 한 개, 두 개, 세 개. So it can be anything. 권, volumes, as in books. 한 권, 두 권, 세 권. 과, lessons. You're already familiar with that, right? So 한 과, 두 과, 세 과. 시간. Oh, what I meant here is when you're counting how many lessons are you talking about at a time, as opposed to lesson 1, lesson 2, which is called a cardinal. This is cardinal. You're just counting. You're not indicating the sequence. Hours, when you talk about duration, not a specific time. That's 시간, meaning for 1 hour, 1시간, for 2 hours, 2시간, for 3 hours. 달, months, 한 달, 두 달, 세 달. Notice that it's the variant forms of native Korean numbers that's used when combined with counters. You knew that. How about Sino-Korean numbers? 층, floor, as in a building. 1층, 2층, 3층. 과, in this case, not how many, like I've read 3 chapters. No, you're talking about lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. 1과, 2과, 3과. Won, Korean currency, 10원, 100원, 1000원, 만원. 10 won, 101, 1001, 10,001, like that. 학년, which grade? 1학년, 2학년, 3학년. You're somewhat familiar with that already. 년 means year. 1년, 2년, 3년. That's again the duration. 월 means month, not duration, but a specific month. 1월, so it's a pointer, right? It's a counter and a pointer. So 1월, January, 2월, February. So we don't use names like January, February. We just count using numbers. 1 is the date, not duration. So 1일, the first day of the month, for example. 2일, 3일. Okay, word order and counting. The structure is like this. Noun and a particle. The particle can be a subject particle like 이, 가, or a topic particle, 은는. But let's just use subject particles in this case. The number and an appropriate counter, and the verb follows. I want you to kind of memorize this structure. So let me give you an example. Older brother and subject marker, 2명 counter 있어요. This is structured to indicate that there are how many of certain things. So older siblings, older brothers, there are two of them. 오빠가 2명 있어요. 가방이, bags, 3개, 3 있어요. There are 3 bags, or I have 3 bags. You know how Korean drops pronouns all the time because the context tells you who's got what. So you kind of figure it out from the context. 책이 4권 있어요. There are 4 books, or I have 4 books. 개가, dog, 개가 한 마리 있어요. There is one dog. 책상이 5개 있어요. There are 5 desks, or I have 5 desks. I want you to just substitute these nouns and the numbers with different items and practice. And just make it become almost second nature. I mean, if you have to think about it, it takes too long. All right, that's it.